Okay, yeah. Hello, everybody. John, I'm going to start now. To a lot of people will entry too. We will start. We will give more information later on. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Murtaza Calendar. I am the Thai Managing Director, Asia and Europe. Thanks to Mr. John Bruno, he gave me this position. I really appreciate it to him. We have done the many Zoom meeting, online meeting, 8 times. This is the 9th time, okay? And I like to be with you, all of you be here, the Thai Zoom meeting. Thai is very important association, because more than 200 different countries we have members, and John has very good vision, and he already very successful man, and I really respect him and his effort. And we will do some presentation today, myself and Mr. John, and I will introduce all our my colleagues. I would like to introduce John Bruno. He is the CEO of the TIDE, the International Ecotourism Society, Mr. John Bruno. The founder of Ecotourism Foundation from Canada, Ms. Jamia Rose Hu. Welcome, Jamia. And we have President of the Sri Lanka Ecotourism Foundation, Palita. He will be here, I think, shortly. He is not here yet, John. Yeah. And we have also the Mr. Mohammed Keskin, is the Associate Professor of Hospitality Tourism, Founders Colleague of Business, Rocher Institute of the Technology and Zonguldak Destination Ambassador, Mr. Gökhan. Welcome, sir. And we have also the one ecotourism from India, the private company, Ms. Vandana Vijay, and Travel Shop Vietnam, Mr. Dan will be with us here. And we have also Özgür Öztürk. She's an ecotourism architect, let me say like that, Özgür. She's really excited to meet with us, and I'm sure she will have a very good few words to say that. Okay. And Mr. Hakan is my colleague. He will do some presentation about our new vision and what will be our new project with TIDE. Okay. Let me start with John. Okay. John, please start, what is TIDE and why is, because especially global warming, and now also we see the pandemic. So everybody, I see TIDE is very important association all around the world. Especially, I just been in Turkey. I'm on holiday, by the way. Special thanks to my colleague Fatih. I'm using his office. Everybody is now more concentrated ecotourism. Okay, but you did from 1990, if I'm not wrong. Where did you, get this idea? Now everybody says ecotourism, ecological tourism. Please tell us who you are and why is ecological tourism important on our life. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. I want to first say that it's always an honor to speak with colleagues of Murtaza's. He is a person that is very impressive to all of us around the world. His work both in Turkey and globally. What particularly impressed me about his work is that when a lot of people were in, frankly, and I'm going to use the word despair, because a lot of people were worried and scared about the effects of COVID on travel, rather than give in to despair, he immediately began organizing seminars with people from all around the world to show us that we have a global community, that we are all connected, and that we have a common mission, not only to allow travel and tourism to places all over the world and make sure that some of the most vulnerable states in the world continue to have tourism revenue that funds their schools, their healthcare, but also that we can do good with our business. We can do a lot of good, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But I want to say that I admire that spirit that he said, let me just do something positive out of all of this, and this has been the result, and it's given us such a great view into how we're all colleagues. We all work together. We're all friends internationally. Everyone that's in our business is a colleague with us, and we need to start thinking that way, not as just the city of Istanbul or the city of London or the city of Brussels, but an international group of people who have a common mission. That's what we all are, and that's how I hope we'll start thinking of ourselves. And Murtaza is leading the way. So congratulations on the success of your work, and thank you so much. I want to say that at the beginning. Ecotourism, when we started in 1990, it was really just a word, and not a word that too many people knew. It was one of those things you might say ecotourism, and people would say, what? And that still happened really up until 2007, 2008. A lot of times I would be called on to explain exactly what ecotourism was, not from a sense of, well, is it this kind of ecotourism or this kind, but what is ecotourism at all? And for a long time, it was considered to be nature tourism or tourism with some green things in it. But now in the last 5 years, ecotourism has grown dramatically, and a lot of people, especially consumers, travelers that is, know what ecotourism is. And they might not have an exact definition in their heads, but they're getting there. They're doing the work, they're studying, they're reading articles, they're paying attention to sustainability in a way that they never have. Last year, there was an article put out, or actually a study put out by Booking.com, which is one of the major booking engines in the world. And they said that 71% of travelers now have as one of their top 3 priorities the sustainability of the destination. Furthermore, they're willing to pay for that. But the problem is they just don't know how to get to those destinations. So we have an interesting situation in the world of ecotourism where there's more demand than there is supply. Right now, people all over the world are looking for sustainable travel, but they're not finding it. And I take as much blame as anyone for that. I mean, I'm sure we could have done better, and we will do better in the future. But for right now, the path out of this, as Murtaza has shown us, is information, is getting information out to travelers. So that's the upside, is that ecotourism will continue to grow strongly. It's already the fastest growing component of tourism. We've been doing a lot of studies during this difficult time where this virus has kept people at home all around the world, kept people quarantined, and kept them from traveling. And we find that at least 35% of people, and usually it's either the top or the second thing that they want to do, is ecotourism. In other words, they want to go with small groups outdoors. They want to see the beauty of the surroundings. They want to interact in a careful way, in a safe way, with people in local destinations. So there's, if anything, even greater demand for ecotourism than there was before. There's demand for outdoors. There's demand for beach. People want to go and they want to see the endless ocean. They want to ride horseback. They want to walk on a mountain. Anything but sit in a room. But they also are interested in making sure that these beautiful places that they want to travel to are kept, that they're available in 20 years, and that the people that they interact with are respected. So that's where we are now. That's the mission that we have in front of us. I won't use the word opportunity, because as others have, because I don't believe that looking at a virus that's killed a lot of people worldwide is an opportunity. I believe we have the same opportunity we had before, which is we have a chance to talk to people, to talk to travel professionals, to talk to travelers, to talk to destinations to talk to governments and say, here's why you should take care of your natural spaces. Here's why you should take care of your people and your culture and your ecosystems. This is not just an argument from the heart. All of us here, it's from the heart, isn't it? We all know that's the right thing to do. But a lot of people, they just want to hear about the money. And that's okay. We can do that too. We can talk about revenue. Ecotourism produces a higher per visitor revenue than anything except luxury tourism. In other words, nations that have committed to ecotourism do quite well from it. Costa Rica is an example of this. They have 25% of their land protected, which is one of the highest percentages in the world. But their average spend per tourist is over $1,500. That's a very high average spend. So ecotourism travelers are not looking for a deal. They're looking for an experience. They're looking for a connection. And that doesn't mean they're going to go into a place and spend without thinking about it. But what it does mean is that they pay attention to what they can do to interact with the destination in a positive way, not necessarily to spend the least, right? So they're a very attractive type of tourist. And as I mentioned before, the downside to all of this growth and this opportunity and this sort of continuing line that we see in demand is it means that in the last 5 years, there have been a lot of new entries into the world of ecotourism. People proclaiming that they know ecotourism, they're the king of ecotourism, they're going to be the rulers of ecotourism. A lot of people want to define themselves into that space as the owners of the space. And we know no one owns ecotourism. No one controls ecotourism. It's part of all of us. So I would urge you to start, if you have not already, to look at how you would define in your destination both welfare to the community, welfare to your ecosystems, and welfare to your culture. And to understand that the growth of ecotourism doesn't have to do so much with unchecked demand, but with our brotherhood staying true to the definitions of ecotourism and what we feel ecotourism is in our communities. So I'm going to suggest to you that if you haven't already, sometime during this, Jamina, I wonder if you could do this for us, put up in the chat to everyone the definition of ecotourism from Ty's website.
Absolutely. And
thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I can put it up too if it. But the key with this definition, it's been used. It's amazing. I just sent around an article this morning from the UNEP that uses our definition, because the reason I think that's sort of flattering to us is to Thais is because the UNWTO, which is another UN agency, actually has its own definition of ecotourism. But in many cases, they use ours because it's a bit simpler. It's more compact. So this is the one that's been in the New York Times. It's been in La Nación. It's been in newspapers and periodicals all around the world, translated into over 50 languages. Responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment, sustains the well-being of local people, and involves interpretation and education. And actually, Jamina, who posted that, she and I have been having a lively back and forth about exactly what interpretation means. In other words, how to interpret interpretation. But the basics of it are that when travel takes place in a community, that travel must benefit the community. That travel must lead to a positive outcome, and that the guest must work actively for that positive outcome. And the definer of the positive outcome is not the guest or you or me or a newspaper or a government, but that community. So we're seeing, it's too bad. I think Palitha will be on here soon because he is one of the global experts in community-based ecotourism. I don't think there is actually an expert that knows more about community-based ecotourism than he does. He literally wrote the book on community-based ecotourism. So when he gets on, I think he'll have more to say about that. But that's the direction that ecotourism is going. So I'll leave you with this. We hear a lot about over-tourism. We hear a lot about destructive tourism. And these are both real phenomenons. If you go to one of the places where there are too many tourists, you see that the things that they're visiting are literally being destroyed. What we want to do is we want to add a path to the global community for tourism outside of those areas. We want to make sure that all sorts of assets globally are available to the global community so that they can get to these places, so that they can book these places, so that they can visit these places. But we want to make sure that they do so in a respectful, careful way. We want to enforce that. The time to come out of, the way to come out of this disaster with a positive outcome for ourselves and for our communities is to make sure that we insist that going forward, travel be a positive experience, not just for the traveler, but for the community in which the travel takes place. Again, it's an honor, and I thank you all for being here. And I think what we'll do is, I think we'll have, Murtaza will have questions perhaps later on.
Yeah, John, I like to come later to you, okay? And we will also receive the question and answer we have also. End of the program, okay? Jamia, I would like to, tell us only 2 minutes who you are, then, I would like to introduce all other speakers, okay? Then I'll come back to you again, your presentation, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, please, go ahead. John, I'll come back to you. I have some more questions to you also.
Perfect.
Thank you. Yes, please, Jamia.
Thank you, Murtaza. Merhaba, everyone. It is, I echo John's honor to be here today to speak with you all and have this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Jamina Hu, and I am based in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I am currently the CEO and founder of the Ecotourism Foundation of Canada. This is the first opportunity that we have to introduce the Ecotourism Foundation of Canada to a wider audience. So this is a very special group, a very special moment for myself and my partner. My partner, who is also co-founder of the organization, is actually Turkish. He comes from Circassian and Turkish Tatar roots. So the concept of bringing ecotourism and protecting the very deep, rich culture, history, and beautiful landscape that Turkey has to offer is very, very near and dear to our hearts. As John had mentioned earlier, this is definitely a message of passion and true care. So I'm very delighted to be here. My background is in tourism for the last 16 years. So I've worked in a variety of different roles in hospitality management, reservations management, revenue management, sales and marketing, account management. And most recently, I spent the last 6 years at Expedia Group, managing tertiary and secondary markets, as well as leading a global pilot team that oversaw small accounts for North America. It was quite a disruptive little team as we were yielding the exponential growth in bed and breakfasts and vacation rentals in the North American space, and ended up being about over 50% of Expedia Group's inventory in North America. So you can imagine the scale that we operated on and at. With that, we were the first teams and one of the first teams globally to pilot some of Expedia Group's first AI prioritization methods, as well as marketing automation and creating a way to communicate with this very, very large and important long tail portfolio. So that's a little bit about me, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Jamila. So nice to hear nice words about Turkey from your side. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'd like to go to Mohammed Keskin. Mr. Mohammed, you are on mute. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Please, please 2 minutes who you are. Then later on we will come back to again your presentation.
I think I'm going to be doing less than 2 minutes. So this is Mohammed Keskin. I'm originally from Turkey. I'm going to be talking about Turkey, but mainly about the Western Black Sea region. I think we want to bring a conference to Zonguldak, my hometown, next year. So I'm going to be presenting, to you what Zonguldak and West Black Sea to offer. So I'm based in Rochester, New York. I worked at Rochester Institute of Technology, Hospitality and Tourism Management Department in the Sanders College of Business. I have been in the industry more than 20 years, and I also work with Visit Rochester over here in terms of so many things. I was also involved in a sustainable tourism conference back in 2010 in South Africa. So it is such an honor for me, and it's a privilege for me to introduce my hometown to this valuable audience today. I'm looking forward to my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. By the way, you look more younger with your haircut.
Oh, thanks so much.
Thank you. I'd like to go to Özgül Öztürk. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much indeed. It's an honor to be here. I live in Istanbul. My background is architecture, more than 25 years. I'm a circular designer in circular economy and also eco-architect. We designed the future with the wisdom of the past and the knowledge of today. I got awards in national and international winner prizes about sustainability, sustainable architecture, and sustainable development. I believe Turkey has lots of opportunities about ecotourism, lots of things said before me. I want to add ecotourism should be designed physically, also in eco-mind concept, and hotel staff should have receive ecological awareness trainings, and hotel must have sustainable supplies, and also very important about sustainable development with the local people, local areas, and communities dynamics. I keep the word short here. Our group is very crowded. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thank you. I think Mr. Dan is here from Vietnam. Mr. Dan?
Hello.
Yeah, please, 2 minutes, Mr. Dan. And
hello, everyone. We are from Travelshop Vietnam. Very good partner of Travelshop Turkey. Is that correct? And Vietnam is now one of the safest country in the world in case of COVID. And later on, I think Marty will let me in the presentation of ecotourism in Vietnam. But we will talk later. But just say hello to all of you and wish you good health, happiness, and plan forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Vandana, namaste.
नमस्ते.
आप कैसे हो? Yes, please.
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ. शुक्रिया. And good evening to one and all. I am Vandana Vijay. I am from India, and I am the CEO and founder of Offbeat Tracks. Offbeat Tracks is an experience-based company which with a heavy focus on ecotourism, and I specialize in a region which is very dear to me. So I promote ecotourism and community-based interactions across the Himalayas. So I work with rural communities in the trans-Himalayan regions such as Ladakh and Zanskar, right across the eastern Himalayas in Bhutan, which is the happiest country in the world, and right into the wild jungles of Nagaland, where we work with remote mountain tribal communities. Some of the projects that we heavily focus are on local community-based interactions, where we have people coming into villages and interacting with locals. And we also focus on impact-based tourism initiatives. As a company, we have mandated 3 UN SDGs, SDGs 7, 8, and 12. And each one of our tours look at fulfilling one of these SDGs. Some of our very interesting impact-based projects are wherein I lead expeditions to remote villages across Ladakh at high altitude. And with a group of participants, we solar electrify homes that are completely off the grid. So we are looking, I'm super excited to be on this platform to interact with ecotourism enthusiasts from around the world. And I'm very young, in the organization. I just have 4 years of experience in tourism. Before that, I was working with Facebook. So thank you so much, Mr. Murtaza, for this opportunity. And I'm looking forward to learning from all of you.
For sure, you're younger than me. Thank you. I'd like to check the Dr. Palita. Is he here, John? I saw he's here, Mr. from Sri Lanka, Palita.
Yeah, Dr. Gursing is on, and I just don't know if he has his.
We already make him unmute. Can you hear us, Dr. Palita? Hello? He's there. We are already making go host. Okay, maybe before him. Mr. Hakan Türkol, please tell us what is our program next.
Greetings from Turkey. This is Hakan Türkol from Travel Shop Turkey. I obviously work for Mr. Mustafa Kalender here, who I have to congratulate on being TIS's Eurasia Chapter head. I will let you know, since we have these ecotourism authorities and professionals within this unique panel, I don't have much to say, but I have a humble presentation towards the end, to talk about what's been happening in Turkey, being, chapter head for the region and so forth. I don't want to extend my words too much, but I would like to underline the fact that our chat room will be on pretty soon once we get to the point where we will be receiving questions from the participants. So do not just wait till when it's on, and I just urge people to use the guidelines of typical business ethics when commenting on things, and do not self-promote. And I will let you discuss the whole thing, and I will try to take advantage of all the information and knowledge you're given here, and I'll see you towards soon.
Thank you, Mr. Hakan. Okay, Jamina, merhaba. Okay, please do your presentation now. John, do you have any word? Because we are expecting the speakers when they come. For sure, we will give time to speak for them.
Hello.
Okay, Palita is here.
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Palita, welcome.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we do, sir. We do.
Yeah. Now I'm from Sri Lanka Ecotourism Foundation. Sri Lanka Ecotourism Foundation is.
Palita, can you please open your cam? I think your camera is off.
Sorry.
Can you please open your camera? Your video.
Right.
You unmute yourself. No need camera, just you can do without video, that's fine. Dr. Palita. Dr. Palita.
Murtaza, if I could, I can go ahead and make a very short introduction,
Sure.
to Dr. Gursing. As I mentioned before, there probably is no one on the earth who knows more about community-based ecotourism than Dr. Gursing. He is a prominent author and scholar. He's also the founder of the Sri Lankan Ecotourism Foundation. And I'm guessing that he might be having internet troubles there, is what I think is probably going on. But he began as a TISE member actually as a TISE board member in 1999. So he's been with us for 21 years and is a thought leader. If he gets to talk, then I urge everyone to listen, because he really has a lot of knowledge to purvey. If not, then maybe we'll see him later in the call.
Okay, then let's go to Jamina. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Please do your presentation, and later on we will get questions. regarding your presentation also. Please be ready. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to try sharing my screen. So
Surely.
let me just begin doing that.
Do you need help, Jamina?
Let me see. So far, it's not working for me.
Hakan, can you please explain how to share the screen, please, to Jamina?
I'm looking at the share screen options.
Yes, correct.
And I'm seeing a bunch of exclamation marks for some reason. So let me just try another thing. Okay, it looks like
No, I think you did not click the share screen.
I did. So it looks like it's actually oh, here. Okay, I had to refresh something.
Okay. Yes, you did now. Very good.
Okay, perfect.
There we go.
Now, great. And I'm just going to go into presenter view here. How does that look for everybody?
Perfect.
Looks
Okay.
good.
Okay. So first and foremost, I was able to give a brief introduction to who I am and my interest and excitement and joy to be here today to talk to you about ecology tourism, also known as ecotourism. I'm going to move to the agenda where we have a brief agenda on why ecotourism is important and a little bit more into what this means for me. A brief overview of what is ecotourism, sustainable tourism at scale, and how this is important to ecotourism. And finally, a call to action for everyone who is here on this screen. So starting with why ecotourism. I'd like to talk first about my why and how that has evolved. So as I mentioned earlier today, 2020 is my 16th year within the industry, and I gave you a little bit of a background as to what the various experiences that I had in the tourism industry were. I'm seeing a
Jamina, sometimes, you know, this happens, you need to turn off and turn on again.
Okay.
Okay. I do it again.
That's, okay. Let's try that again. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So here you have a picture of me in the beautiful Anatolian side of the Bosphorus. And this is such a picture that my partner and I pulled up when we were putting this PowerPoint together because we were very excited to be able to share our personal experience with Turkey. And one of the reasons why, I'm just going to stop sharing here and maybe just return to speaking because looks like there was some influence to
Let
the
me
PowerPoint.
share it my side from here, okay?
Okay.
I guess
Yeah.
yours.
Absolutely. And I can keep speaking while you're getting that running. So as you all may have seen, the quote from Mark Twain that was indicated on that slide, that travel is fatal to bigotry and closed-mindedness. And it is such a powerful and a, maybe we don't share, we can also maybe not share some screens. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. This is actually something that I know has been a struggle for a lot of Zoom meetings recently. So just want you to know that that's not something that is phasing me. It's
Goodness
definitely a
gracious.
challenge.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's been something that quite a
Bad
few
luck.
organizations have been struggling with.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, I'm just trying to get rid of my share. I'm just gonna.
John, can you please open your video, sir? A lot of people watching.
Let me just
Yeah.
get there. Okay, let me reorganize here. Okay. So with the quote that I've included here of travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, narrow-mindedness, and for many of our people, we need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and the things that cannot be inquired by vegetating in one little corner of our earth in one's lifetime. I think many people on this call will be familiar with this quote, as this is a fundamental guiding post that has been within the tourism industry for over 100 years now. And the first time that I encountered this quote was back in 2007, where I was a delegate for the Showcase Canada Asia trade show. And I was absolutely delighted to see and to meet an industry of people that related to this value that was presented within the Mark Twain quote. And I remember after one of the sessions speaking with a general manager that I was working with at an independent property and asked for her opinion on this quote. And her response to me was, well, travel is the hardest working industry at achieving world peace. And this conversation was one of my first realizations that tourism and the people behind tourism are the people that I want to associate with, and I want to help drive forward into a strong industry and be part of such a wider cause. The following years throughout my career, I began to experience many different angles of the industry. And as I had shared before, most recently had managed a team that was truly experiencing exponential growth. And meanwhile, having a lot of fun with this team and being able to grow such a unique sort of aspect and segment within the tourism industry, I was also following the various conversation around climate change and the impact that tourism has, as well as what our vision is in terms of a sustainable future. And in 2018, my observations and my thoughts became really solidified when the International Panel on Climate Change released a report that had stated that in 2017, the Earth had warmed in an alarming 1 degree Celsius, and we had only 12 years to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees or to 2 degrees at maximum, which would be the only way to significantly decrease the risk of droughts, floods, and fires. And while this report had been released, many of you can probably recall the devastating fires in Australia, in the Amazon, as well as many events that have been happening around the world. So this data started to become very alive to me. And this led to further exploration and research as to what is this very controversial conversation on climate change and tourism. Meanwhile, experiencing the natural world has always been a driving factor for my origins in tourism as well. So if you can imagine a picturesque Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, I grew up with camping, swimming in freshwater lakes, hiking on a daily experience level. And growing up in Taiwan as well, in Asia, I was introduced to hummingbirds the size of bees and bees the size of hummingbirds, spiders that were bright yellow and the size of an adult hand dropping out of the trees while I'm walking jungle trails and quickly trying to scatter around them. So my connection to nature has always been deeply rooted in my lifestyle. And therefore, I became a subscribed member of Ties in 2014 and was closely following the concept of ecotourism, the material that they were providing, and how I might be able to bring this thought into my existing roles in tourism at that time. In my experience, I always worked in independent properties, and as I mentioned, my role at Expedia was also very centered on the rural destinations, secondary and tertiary markets, and small accounts. So following this impact that the mass growing scale of tourism, and meanwhile being a subscribed member to the ecotourism concept, in 2018, TIES released another update that was very alarming to me, that showed tourism accounted for 8% of contribution to the CO2 emissions. And when I did further research, I found that current data didn't include airline and transportation impact. So what I found there was that it drove little urgency from the tourism sector from a high-level research standpoint, and there was a real opportunity for people like me who were in the industry to step up, start doing more research, start understanding what we can do at an industry level to be able to drive mass change. And furthermore, in 2018, we had the world event of COVID begin. So it was 2 weeks before COVID actually reached North America that I decided to take a leap. And I was currently, at that time, I was living in Seattle, Washington. My partner and I looked at each other and said, okay, this is, a time where we are going to move back to Canada. And at that point of decision, we had no idea the impact that COVID would have and the urgency and the immediacy that would be required in putting together an ecotourism concept and way of living. So today I have a new quote that guides my decision in being part of the travel industry. I do believe that Mark Twain's quote has served its purpose, but after 110 years, I do believe that it deserves reinvention. And the quote that I have created as our new guiding post for the Ecotourism Foundation of Canada is that travel can be a vessel for world peace. But in order to achieve this, we must first reconcile our actions with the planet and have a world to explore. And it's time to have for every person to bring vegetation to a little corner of the earth in our lifetime. So to speak about ecotourism, John gave a great definition in terms of the explanation to the definition that I've copied and pasted in the chat below. And I want to just reiterate that this is the definition that I lean on through the last 7 years of following the sustainable tourism conversation. I found that the Ecotourism Society's research and credible insight was the first and the most credible in terms of creating definitions that are deeply rooted to the ecosystem and looking at humans and the migration of people and the movement of people in relation to really important key topics such as conservation and community and of the local peoples. And as the UNWTO now states that sustainable tourism is the new norm, I return back to this quote to remind ourselves of what the original intent is of finding new solutions that do identify opportunities to address biodiversity loss and end poverty and bring true, deeply connected interpretation strategies to help create a new type of traveler and give those travelers that John was speaking about a pathway to purchase that's easy and also relevant to their experience. I do have a slide that speaks to what is the difference of ecotourism and sustainable tourism. So hopefully my words can help reiterate the message. But with the emphasis of sustainable tourism today, I also think it's really valuable to consider where ecotourism sits within the mix. And this is something else that John and I have had lots of discussions on. And what are the sort of niche audiences that come within the ecotourism concept? So many emerging sectors have grown niche audience, and I believe that all of these are excellent ways to speak to the various types of travelers seeking natural experiences. An example would be wellness tourism. And as a certified yoga teacher, I am very honored and can speak to the wonders of how the wellness tourism experience can create conscious travelers that are attending retreats, they're partaking in local experiences, really desiring to learn more about culture. Smart tourism is another niche that also can create an incredible opportunity to reduce waste. So when you're thinking about reducing printing materials as an example, ways to create a savvy traveler that is not reliant on our traditional pamphlet material, you know, things that can actually counteract the efforts that are being made to preserve the environment. Adventure tourism is another great example, thinking in the Canadian relation to adventure tourism, ski, hiking, rafting. These bring so much value to identifying a traveler who is interested in valuing the purpose of why they travel and looking to seek to explore the natural wonders. But the aspect of ecotourism, and I think this is an area where when John and I, and speaking with Palitha as well, to understand what is true ecotourism, I believe ecotourism is important within this concept because it speaks to the ecological movement of people as part of the natural system. So ecotourism has a place within all of the niche segments, which also fall under the umbrella of sustainable tourism. And with an effective interpretation and communication strategies, by the time the wellness, the digitally savvy, and the adventure traveler arrives to their destination, the idea is to hopefully make them feel a part of the ecosystem and to seek and to value the resources that are available to treat their experience with much more care. So the other thing that I wanted to speak with you today is about ecotourism at scale and what are some opportunities of bringing in ecotourism to sustainable tourism initiatives that are at scale. There are many, many examples of how the industry is transforming right now at a property level, at a tour level, as well as the online travel agency level. So I would like to focus on just a couple of concepts within OTAs, as this is my area of expertise. Within just the last year, the top OTAs of Airbnb, Expedia Group, and Booking.com have launched several campaigns. One of the most interesting campaigns that I found was Airbnb and 23andMe driving a DNA travel campaign, which if you think about at an ecological level, people who are following a route or a path or a travel experience based on their DNA, there's a massive opportunity to work in collaboration with the property level to speak to this experience and to drive that connection back to the destination that they're arriving to. Secondly, Expedia Group has announced a partnership with Unesco heritage sites. They've been working feverishly. As I was leaving, I was very involved and aware of the eco badging that they were adding onto their sites to be able to help travelers identify what different eco properties and types of trips and tours are available. So that is another really valuable opportunity for at the property level to understand what is available within these audiences to identify and separate yourself from this regular kind of lodging. And then third, as John had mentioned earlier in reference, Booking.com had released the 2019 sustainability report. They've also launched Travelist, which is a think tank founded by, I believe, TripAdvisor, Skyscanner, Visa, and more, to create more opportunities and ideas as to what sustainable travel movement we can inspire at scale, and what are some big solutions that can be made. I've also been, following what Expedia Group is doing with COVID, and they've launched a campaign valuing around $275 million for a recovery fund, with the most unique aspect of it being a $25 million fund through their advertising and marketing arm, Expedia Media Solutions. And from my experience, the reason I point this out is because from my experience, the biggest roadblock is that smaller destinations, smaller properties, rural locations aren't aware of these different tools that are available to them and how to compete within their competitive marketplace. So being the leaders on this call who are representing the concept of ecotourism and recognizing that between Expedia Group and Booking.com alone, we're looking at about 70% of global transactions for travel being made. Where can we have the impact and work as a partnership that is, working towards moving our industry at scale to a new type of perspective? Because after all, when it comes down to tourism, these organizations also have been guided by that same Mark Twain quote for many, many years. So last but not least, I'll wrap it up by leaving you all with some key action items. One, I would say to assess your destination's top biodiversity loss needs and what communities are in need of distribution wealth, so that you can work with the conservation aspect as well as the community aspect to identify true local needs and how tourism might benefit that aspect and what channels are available to you to create that messaging. How might you be able to create an interpretive communication program that is working with the traveler throughout their various journey, whether that be, at the inspiration stage, which we know happens at minimum 6 months, often up to 2 years in advance to conversion. And throughout that, we know that the traveler is looking at about 160 different search hits before converting. So if you think about the multiple different times where that traveler is looking at inspiration material, how are you uniting not only with your destination marketing organization, your ecotourism societies, the local foundations, nonprofits, the conservation efforts that are happening in your area, and the local indigenous communities, and making sure that that message is unified. Thank you, and that's all.
Thank you, Jamina. I'm sure we will get another question to you.
Thank you.
Please be here. John, would you like to add on to Jamina?
I just have to say that not only is Jamina a unique voice in my estimation in the industry, she's become extremely important very quickly due to her immense knowledge and expertise. And I want to add on that, to sum up the last part of her message, the global travel industry is no longer a bunch of small points separate. We're all together, and we should embrace that, move toward it as quickly and as aggressively as we can, because that's what's going to give us the messaging and the direction to make sure that we can handle shocks like this and move forward strongly from them, and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to do what they need to do, and that we can give the travelers the best possible experience, not just them going to things that they heard of 30 years ago, but them experiencing things in a way that is beneficial to both us and the communities and them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. John. I'd like to go to Mr. Mohammed Keskin. Can you hear me? Mr.
Yes.
Mohammed, before you start, I'd like to give a little information about Zonguldak and Black Sea. As you know, Thais make an event every year in every different country. 2021, we are planning to do in Turkey, and especially the Black Sea area. Mr. Mohammed give us the information about that, about the Black Sea area, and especially Zonguldak. Very beautiful place, and I'm sure he tell us more about the Black Sea. Yes, please, sir.
Okay, so I will try to stay brief, hopefully 5-7 minutes maximum, and I will try to share my screen. I hope it's going to work. I will have no problem.
Used to be no problem. I don't know, first time, that we saw some funny stuff.
So can you see my sharing now?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, so let me.
Yes, we do now.
Okay, so again, I'm going to be talking about Black Sea, particularly West eastern side of the Black Sea. It is called as Batı Karadeniz in Turkish. You're going to be seeing some pictures about it. I am originally from Zonguldak. Zonguldak is a province. We used to have Bartın and Karabük. They are now separate provinces, but I'm going to be having lots of pictures from both Bartın and Karabük in this presentation. Oh, again, you know, we have this problem.
Yeah.
So should I cancel my presentation as well, or just
Maybe.
try to go?
Yeah, I was actually just reading about this, and it's a lot of the time just.
Mohammed, maybe you can share
yeah.
the this on chat your presentation, everyone.
Yes, I will do that. Yeah.
Okay, then maybe you can read it.
So let me talk about this picture particularly. So we're in, you know, this is Black Sea. We're going to be talking about this part of the Turkey. It is northern Turkey. So Black Sea is a special sea. I'm going to stop sharing. So Black Sea is a special place in terms of its conditions that are called as eugenic or eugenia. So which is around the low level of oxygen or no oxygen at all and high levels of sulfide. So it creates a, you know, specific conditions for ecology and geography and those formation of plants and etc. And the word, you know, phyto and the word eugenic, if they come together, it creates a eugenic phyto geographical region. So it is very, very unique. So the phytogeography is the study of patterns and process in plant distribution. I think this is something important from the ecotourism perspective and ecological perspective. And obviously, I will say that, you know, we have got unique ways of, you know, plant patterns and processes. So Jemina and John was talking about biodiversity, having lasting impact and etc. You're going to be seeing lots of unique things. You know, we have got this diverse flora and fauna in the Black Sea region overall, but particularly in the Western Black Sea. So I'm going to talk about that. But a fun fact is the Black Sea, the Greek version, eugenic sea means hospitable sea. So it's a sea, you know, that welcomes people with hospitality as well. I thought that is interesting. So I'm going to be sharing my my presentation as well later on. So it's an ecoregion. It has been labeled as an ecoregion with intact forest cover and maybe around 12 or 15 tree species within 500 square meter. So there is wide variety of, you know, small species of trees that can be found in this area. We have national parks such as Yedigöller. We have national park, you know, Kırım Mountains. So those are in between Bolu and Zonguldak and Bartın and Kastamonu. And we also have nature monuments. So there's a place near Alaplı and Ereğli. So there are over thousands of, there are many, many trees that are older than, you know, 1,000 years old. And they have also found those trees called as porsuk tree in Turkish. One of them is around, you know, 4,000 years old. So it's a very, very unique, you know, destination in terms of its natural monuments, you know, in terms of trees as well. So we have got natural reserves and we also have wildlife development areas. I have beautiful pictures with me on my slide that I was going to show you. In that, you know, one of them is about, you know, a castle. So there is a place called as Philios. It's an ancient site. It dates back to Roman Empire or Byzantine. It's very beautiful and there are excavations going on over there. We have a beautiful sunset and there are other pictures as well. We have got caves in Zonguldak as well. They are beautiful. So I'm going to be sending those pictures later on. So basically in Zonguldak and in Bartın, because they are by the sea, we can see a harmony of between green and blue. So it's really beautiful. But on top of that, you know, we also have cultural significance. So it's a historically significant place. So there are two locations. One of them is Amasra in Bartın. The other one is Safranbolu, which is in Karabük. So Safranbolu is a typical Ottoman city. It's a World Heritage Site in terms of UNESCO. We have unique construction and design in terms of its architecture. They have been using and living in that place in Safranbolu with the same similar architecture. I'm sure Özgül will be saying something around this about the Safranbolu houses. since 13th century. So it's a very unique place. Amasra is one of those most beautiful places in the northern Turkey as well. So those two locations are very, very touristic. But we also have Ereğli, Çaycuma, Gökçebey, Devrek. These are other towns in Zonguldak, and also the city center of Zonguldak. It's also very, very rich in terms of green and blue and everything. So, but the tourism has not developed there. So in the last 2 decades, so we started developing tourism, and ecotourism is one of those things that are going to be happening there. So the importance and significance of Turkey, or sorry, Zonguldak comes from coal mining. So in the last 200 years, we had lots of support and influence from France or England in terms of building those early era coal mining in Zonguldak. But after the foundation of Turkish Republic, Zonguldak was the first officially declared city in Turkish Republic. So that was in 1924, and we started industrial revolution in Turkey from Zonguldak because we have coal mining. So I kind of think of Zonguldak being like upstate New York. So if you look at the Adirondacks, all right, and then if you go to Colorado in terms of gold mining and all these areas, and if you put those two together, and if you take the snow out, that's what Zonguldak looks like. So once you see those pictures, you will see that. So coal mining has more than 200 years, as I said. And then we also have iron and steel production that is happening in Karabük and Ereğli. So these are very, very important things. So we have industrial heritage tourism. There is a great potential in terms of starting coal mining tours. So we have a lot to learn from other places in the world in terms of how to do a better job in terms of industrial heritage tourism because of the coal mining we have underground. And then we have been talking about community involvement, right? So the local craft, we have some local crafts. They have been working on it. For example, one of those things that we have over there is flat-heeled shoes, walking sticks, some unique made, handmade, clothes. So we have all these kind of things. There's also a place where we build ships made of wood. So these are unique things that are happening in our region. And then food. We have local food, we have local cuisine, and ladies are involved in this. We have the Ottoman strawberry, a specific kind of strawberry that only grows over there. And we have this yogurt made of buffalo, and it's very thick, very delicious. We have one of the best mulberries you can find in the world. And we have got local bazlama or pancakes and etc. Our cranberries are as good as the ones in upstate New York. Turkish lokum is very famous, but you should try Turkish lokum not from elsewhere, but from Safranbolu. They really do a good job. So we have these chestnuts. The chestnut that grows in Zonguldak area, in our area, is very, very small, very aromatic, very delicious, different than many parts. You cannot necessarily bake it nicely, but you can use it for other things. And we make lots of honeys from chestnut. So both chestnut. And then our hazelnuts are better than the hazelnuts that comes from, Giresun, Murtaza, and that's joking. So we also have hazelnuts growing over there. And our local women, local ladies, they do lots of food production in their bostan, garden, backyards, and etc. And they sell them in markets. And they are very, very active. So one of those towns, there are many other examples, but there's one specifically in Devrek, one of those towns. So they established a cooperative association like almost 10 years ago now. They produce local food. And 2 days ago, they were in Istanbul, Kadıköy, selling products that they produce in Devrek. So bread, all these jams and etc. And I also have got pictures over here, beautiful pictures that you could see the colors, in bazaar. So Galla Pazarı, we say, or women or Kadınlar Pazarı, that is from Bartın. That is a unique place, and that has a story. We can perhaps talk about that later as well. So the railway from Ankara to Zonguldak is especially important. So it has been used for freight, cargo, and etc. But it is beautiful. So you can go through valleys, greens, and blue and everything. It's very, very picturesque. So what else I can say? So I've got pictures and everything. So I've got a video, but I could be sharing that later on, and I can share my slide as well. So at the end, what I can say is, so as I said, we started working on tourism, and we definitely need the community within Turkey and the community outside of Turkey to make sure our biodiversity, our heritage, our culture, and everything lasts forever. So we all need your help, to do so. We should learn from each other, and we should learn from other places. So I'm speaking on behalf of, Zonguldak from Rochester, New York, Bartın and Karabük are earlier provinces, but then we also have Bolu, Kastamonu, and Sinop. This area is really beautiful and has strong potential to be one of the best places for ecotourism in the world. So it's a diverse ecoregion with diverse flora and fauna. Natural, I couldn't show you pictures, but it will be very, very important for adventure. So we can easily attract, we have already been attracting, pulling and drawing special interest tourists. But then there's also great potential in terms of culture, historical attractions, industrial, heritage tourism. Dark tourism is also a problem there because we have lost lots of people who are working in the coal mining. So if you go to the museum, there's a museum right now, you will feel the dark tourism as well. But again, it's a great place for rest and relaxation and exploration. So the conventional leisure tourists, not necessarily mass tourists, are also going to be welcomed, and they can also enjoy lots of parts over there. In terms of the markets, as I said, can attract special interest and leisure tourists easily. We have a lot in terms of experience. We have also Turkey or Western Black Sea was announced as ecotourism region in our strategic plan for tourism 2023 in 2005 and 6. So now we are working on it. So I think we need exemplary events and festivals, and we need organizations and professionals like you to make sure our region develops properly, and we have our biodiversity and resources last longer or forever. Okay, thanks so much. I can stop now.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. 95% we will do our event in Zonguldak, and we want to see your best hospitality, especially all kind of Turkish food, especially organic honey. We don't want money, but we like honey from Zonguldak. Okay, and later on we will get some questions to you also. Yeah. Please
so I am Mustafa. I am sending the video. It's only 90 seconds video on the chat box. So it's up to you whether people want to see it now.
We can share
I just shared it.
We can share online. Just a second, please.
Yeah. I'm also going to share my PowerPoint slide in the chat if you like.
Yeah, please.
That'd be great.
If you have any question, I can take any questions you have. So I couldn't show the pictures. Yeah.
Later on we will get the question. So now I would like to go to Mr. Zhang from Vietnam. 2022, we are planning to do our event in Vietnam. Mr. Zhang, can you please be unmute? Okay.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we do.
We can.
Yeah. Okay.
Zhang, please tell us why we should come to Vietnam for our ecotourism event. Why Vietnam that you invite us?
Yeah. As you know, we have been planning a number of B2B workshop and farm trips in Vietnam, but unluckily the COVID problem and a lot of workshop has been reviewed and delayed. So far, even Vietnam has nearly 400 cases in influence cases with COVID, but nobody dead. And now in the community, no more virus, no more. COVID in the community. Only someone in the quarantine camp who come from other countries, even some from Vietnam, some from foreigners who come and work They have residence in Vietnam, but they need to be stay there until quarantine time in finish, and when they do a test with negative COVID, and then they will be free and live in the community. Until just a government report, until now, no one died.
Good
And
news.
very good news that one of the British pilots who worked with Vietnam Airlines, who was the most serious man, a serious impact man, and he now he in a release, and he came back to his hometown, and he's alive, and it's actually a very bad situation since COVID started, and he was treated by Vietnamese doctors. Until now, he was fine, and he already left Vietnam, and he will be staying in UK. And one thing to remind that Vietnam no one dead of virus. Maybe of the weather, or I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Government said different story,
But then that is not good enough to we can come to Vietnam. Please tell us more about Vietnam ecotourism.
yeah. And the other thing, why Mr. Murtaza he talked with us about ecotourism, and in Vietnam, a lot of things to see, ecotourism. And I need Mr. John Bruno also to help. I will tell you in the next, in the coming presentation. But firstly, I have to thank Mr. Murtaza, my best friend. You know, when COVID happened, everyone thinking we have to save the earth. And I heard from a very beautiful lady from Canada who show us about very detailed and very useful presentation about his mind, his plan, and her mind, her plan, and her idea. Is so important for us. And I would like to to tell you to share with you some secrets about Vietnam, even the eco tour. We may be not good enough to preserve the environment. We have to learn step by step. And when I learn enough, I can propose to the government to do to show them what we can do for our tourists in the future. Even we have to have some plan. For example, we have to educating tourists. We have to involve the local communities in protect the environment. We have to save everything towards the environment. It's so important. So I want to share with you a few very few minutes. I don't want to talk very long about Vietnam Eco Tour, because I really want you to come to Vietnam to see. Vietnam is a tropical country, and we have a lot of things to see, and you will be seen in a few seconds. Thank you. Mati, please give me screen sharing.
Okay, I do. Please try. Today we are unlucky, the screen sharing. Let's try with you. Okay, I make it a co-host. Please try.
Please do it.
I already did. I already did.
Okay. You stop me sharing, but I promise with you I will not talk very long. Very quick.
No, we are excited, Dan, to be in Vietnam with all of us.
Yeah, please.
double click.
I will make even you will see a lot of information here, but I will go very fast because later on I will send you this presentation.
Please,
Okay?
because we have two more speakers done. That's why.
Yeah, I know. So I will talk briefly about Vietnam ecotourism. You will see that we are also one of the key players in protecting the environment. Why is red here? I don't know.
Today, some bad luck for presentation at the Zoom done. Nothing to do with that.
Yeah. So,
Maybe you can speak, you can share. We will send them to all our colleagues by email. Okay.
Okay. So in Vietnam, a lot of things to see. A lot of things regarding about the environment. Generally, we have a lot of we have 8 UNESCO sites, and we have a lot of other beautiful things to see, and we have also different things to preserve, like ethnic people and the culture and the local communities. And one of the most important thing that for ecotourism, we have to learn how to preserve and how we can maintain the sustainable tourism activities, for example. And that's the main thing. In a long time ago, we don't focus on the environment. Then even the environment is destroyed, and even the culture also change, and it's not good. To be a DMC in Vietnam or Indo-China, we try to move forward to a responsible travel agent. That in the way of thinking how we make business, but we still have to keep the environment sustainable. So I can tell you the definition, by heart. Sustainable development is the development that meet the need of current generation without compromising the harm of the future development. For example, so in everything, in every way we do, we have to care. Even when I email to somebody, I tell them not print out the document, even with the tourists. Yeah, not if something not necessary. We not produce anything that harm the environment. That's also very important. And the tourists, some of them respect it very much, some not, because they why we have to do that, or why we have to keep our thing to save the planet. And also even during the tours, I also explain our team to tell that try to not to teach but to inform the tourists the ground rule. For example, when you come into a certain community, if so many touristic, maybe we have to do something different. If we do some destination with untouched places, so the tourists have to think to bring the benefit to the local community. Not they have money and they come and they doing something. They might destroy something. They might destroy the culture. They might destroy things that is not good for the future. So ecotourism is not beautiful mountain, beautiful jungle, but it's really things that we have to care. When we bring the tourists there, we have to inform them how to behave with the local communities, how to behave with the nature environment, other thing like that. So we try our best. Even we work with the local communities to develop some project. For example, in Ha Long Bay, waste collection project, for example, we call for the fund from UNDP, from the private, to buy the boat, to rent somebody to collect the waste. But it's not enough. The thing important that we have to train even the local the boat staff something where you can put the waste, and with tourists we have to give them very strict. For Chinese tourists, they may throw something, and it's not good for the future tourists. Yeah, am I right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to add to I want to add to what Mr. Wen is saying. He and I have only met through email, and we've never actually had a chance to discuss this topic. But as you can see, his definition and my definition are the same. That's the power of having an idea that people agree on. And so one of the reasons that I think ties matters in the International Ecotourism Society's definition matters is you can see from Jamina's experience before she and I ever met, Mr. Wen's experience, and we just are seeing each other today for the first time. We all come to the table with a similar understanding of what needs to be done. And there's a lot of power in that because we're all prepared and we all understand. I know Vietnam fairly well, but Mr. Wen knows it very, very well. And so I know Canada, of course, very well, as most Americans do, but Jamina knows it very, very well. So the idea is that in these, in our international frame, having this definition allows us to have a common understanding and work towards a common goal. And that's where we all become truly powerful. And that's where our knowledge and the sharing of our knowledge makes us more powerful and get better results.
Thank you, John.
Sorry,
please,
Martin.
Dan.
I have a few more words. In Vietnam, even we have a beautiful environment or something, but very important that how we have to keep it sustainable. We have to think about the future. We always have to think. If we don't have a very good plan, maybe it's not only the job of the government, but it is the job of everyone. But we have to think about that. The government, they just put some principle. If you do teach a tourist something, and if you want to involve in a charity communities things, doing something, but it's not a really big thing. For sustainable, we have to everyone. We call the community participation in the environment protection. The environment is very important for the planet. During the COVID, maybe somebody will know our life is not, sustainable. It is very vulnerable. It's not easy, and the environment, the life around the earth. So we have to protect ourselves. Now we have so many people, more than 7 billion people, and every country, they have limited resources, and the environment is not, sustainable if you don't have the very well plan to protect it. If the government, they put very strong mind on the environment, but the people, the awareness of environment protection not enough, and they don't have the strong enough for the law force. and the tourists may not respect the country, may not respect the destination. So even in our company, whenever we have tourists come, we inform them that this is we want to protect, and is worth to protect, because you will come back. You are not come here for one time, you will come here for many times, so you have to respect it. So it's a rule. So it's not the job of one company, but it's the job of everyone. I just tell, we don't want to make business for money only, but we have to think about sustain it for the future, because we live here, very short in the earth, maybe maximum 100 years, but the future generation, how they can live, it is our philosophy. Yeah, I think Mr. John Bruno may agree, showing us how to do it. Okay.
It's a
Thank
lot
you,
of
Dan.
work, to be sure.
Yeah.
Surely. Thank you, Dan. You give us great information. Yeah, I'm really happy to see you here. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Later on, we will receive the question and answer. Now, I would like to go to Özgür Öztürk. Luckily I met with her, short time, but I heard a lot of good things, especially ecotourism. Özgür, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you please unmute?
Okay.
Yes, now I can open.
Yeah.
Hello, and I'm in ecological mind since 15 years, trying to do something in Turkey, very, very difficult and very slowly steps, because also I'm an architect, but I believe communities will grow with women empowerment, with production, with culture, and being together in collective mind, from heart, from ego mind to eco mind. It's very important, I believe.
That's good.
I was so alone on the way when I walked these roads and steps. But now, since 4 or 5 years, I am getting all the awards, all the national and international. But it's not important, because I am the same lady, I am the same woman as before 15 years ago. I have the same heart, same mind. But people now seeing that what I want to do, what I want to pronounce the world, spread my dreams, because I believe if the people have dreams, everyone can do everything. But it's hard to do walk alone. I'm very appreciated to be here, because lots of ecological minds are here, and I'm not very alone now. And also we can do lots of things together, because I believe the power of communities, and my ancestors, since I think 80 years ago, from east of Turkey to Istanbul. We all lived in Istanbul, big city, but I had a project, my winner award, about the World Award. I want to do an ecological, typical model house, and for empowerment, for women empowerment, to the village. And now, last 6 or 7 months ago, I finished it. It's an earth building. You will see in background my picture. I'm advertising.
Özgür, you close, can you please be unmute?
Pardon, sorry. And it is an earth building with all natural materials, and not had any chemical materials inside of it, and had a green roof, and harvesting the rainwater, and a woman has a place now with this building. Only one place they are being together for women now in the area of east of place that my ancestors place. And I am trying to make it cooperative about they product together, they earn money together, and for social and economically to grow their empowerment. I am trying to work, and also in Istanbul, I am a part of Kagider. It is Women Entrepreneur Society, very important society. I am volunteered here since 16 years in Turkey. We had lots of projects about women empowerment, because I believe if the woman transforms her mind, her life, family transforms, and also a community transforms, and also world transforms. I believe to begin from the woman, because women educate children, and also sorry about it, but sometimes her husband also. And also it affects like a butterfly effect. And I believe it's coming from heart. Not only my motivation is about money, my motivation is doing something for environment, and in a big scale, challenging something. It's coming from inside. And when every one person try to challenge some things, I think we will talk another kind of tourism, another kind of life, another kind of planet. Now, because of this, we are all living these sometimes dark things together, but there is hope always. I believe the hope side. And now these ladies are earning money there and working together there. And they say, yes, we can do. You said you can do. Now we are believing we can do together. And it's a very small ecotourism model of a house also in Elazığ. It's very east, 1,200 kilometers to my my home. Last year, I went there to finish in 1.5 months, because it's very small building. For Istanbul also, I could do it in 1.5 months, but I stayed there from my home very far, and 5 months, because dynamics were very difficult. All man mind there, not woman mind. And also they didn't want any earth building, because I suggested it. I do it. No one gave me money about it, because I got some awards money, and also I go to government, I go to private industry, and I said, give me some money, not money, give me some material, give me some workerman. And 5 months I was there, and now we had a wall, not seen, unseen wall, but now there is a social wall with and social connections between us. Now we are being a community there, and I believe communities power, women's power, and ecotourism will begin on these sites with natural materials, natural places, natural people, and natural behavior, because lots of people must change their behavior and how to live things, how to tüketim, unuttum ne demekti tam İngilizcesini unuttum.
Hakan, tüketim neydi tam olarak Muhammed Bey?
Tüketim alışkanlıklarını değiştirmek. Behavior about tüketimi unuttum.
Tüketim neydi Hakan ve Muhammed Bey?
Consumption.
Consumption, behaviors of consumption. It must be change also. And then lots of things Mohammed said. I believe also culture, nature, and taste of cookies, or gastronomy, and woman empowerment, and all with eco mind looking, not with ego mind looking. It really must be changed, and then we can talk ecological tourism easily, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You can see we have 5 speakers, 3 of them is female. Yeah, I think fair enough, yeah? Am I right, John?
Yeah, and if you look at the expanded definition that we have of ecotourism, it includes a statement on empowerment of women. You're absolutely right that ecotourism is an active form of tourism. It takes an active interest in people and an active interest in the community. And so, as several guests have mentioned, Mohammed mentioned the same thing. It isn't merely about seeing green spaces. It's about the community, the ecosystem within that space. And that means that you need to look at all the citizens and all the efforts that they're making to enhance their own community, and you need to be involved. And you know what's amazing? I'll take 30 seconds. I know we have so little time, but when travelers do that, that is when they're the happiest. Isn't that amazing? We think that they just want to come somewhere, eat some food, drink some alcohol, see a couple of things, and fly home. But the truth is, what they're missing in their lives is a connection. And when they come and they're allowed to actually experience the power of what you've done behind you, then they feel as if they're a part of what you're doing. And that makes them feel alive. It makes them feel connected. It makes them feel human. And that is a gift that they never forget. They may seem like they come and they visit and they, spend some money and go home, but they remember you. And many times for the rest of their lives, even when they're 90 years old, they'll remember what you gave them. So I think that's the most important thing to remember, is that these things aren't just for the community, and they aren't just for traveling, and they aren't just for money. They're for the connection between people on this earth.
Thank you, John. I'd like to go to Vandana. I'm sorry you wait, very long time. And please tell us, India is very big country. Yeah, I've been in India maybe almost 100 times.
Wow.
Less than Canada, less than America. Yeah, please tell us about India's ecological side.
Thank you. So as I already introduced myself, I'll straight away cut to the point. I specialize with ecotourism and community development in the Himalayas. Why the Himalayas is because I was very fortunate to have spent a lot of my childhood growing up across the Himalayas, and I developed a deep passion and interest for working with remote mountain communities. We're very blessed as a nation, to be so diverse and have this great diversity in terms of landscape, where you've got the greater Himalayas and the Karakorams up north, where mean altitude is about 3,500 meters above sea level. And then you've got the dense jungles in the east and the beautiful tranquil beaches down south. So India is genuinely a country which, we talk about unity in diversity. And I think India is a perfect example of that. We've got diversity in terms of culture, landscape, people, dialects, cuisine, you name it. But everything still comes across, and we all come across as Indian. Now, since because of the paucity of time, I am going to talk to you specifically about a region which is very dear to my heart, which is Ladakh. Ladakh is in the newest Union territory in northern India, and it is sandwiched between the Great Himalayan ranges and the mighty Karakoram ranges up north. And it is high altitude. It is called as a trans-Himalayan high altitude cold desert, with mean altitude ranging from 3,500 meters above sea level to very high. The region boasts of probably the highest motorable passes in the world, the Khardungla Pass and the Changla Pass, and it has a very unique ecosystem. There is a huge influence culturally of Central Asian cultures and Tibetan culture predominantly. Now, I'll try and share this video before we get spammed once again. So here goes. Murtaza, can you just enable my screen sharing, please?
Sure, I did.
All right.
Be ready just in case.
Yes, let me try my luck.
Who knows what our creative friend may.
All right. This is a small video. Now, what you saw here before you is a traditional Ladakhi village with the locals dressed up in their traditional gear to welcome all of us. So what we work on Ladakh is community-based rural ecotourism, with the focus on generating clean energy. So we focus on SDG 7 here, where we are working towards generating and providing clean energy to rural Ladakh. Now, geographically, because Ladakh is a high altitude cold desert, the region is blessed with abundant sunshine. We're talking of about 300 days of abundant sunshine. But the terrain is so harsh. For example, now this is a picture of typical Ladakhi terrain in the winters. You see this beautiful monastery here and the Indus meandering its way through. And you've got rivers, you've got villages which are scattered and they're so far away that it's impossible to electrify them. Trivia, we've still got villages in Ladakh. All right, our friends here. So
we got 1 minute.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
So our endeavor is to bring about development across the region in Ladakh using community-based ecotourism. So what we do is I lead expeditions into Ladakh, wherein we take groups of travelers from around the world. We stay in villages, in homestays with local families. So as you saw, that is a traditional welcome which all the guests receive. We stay at their homes, we try out local food and cuisine, we have local cooking classes, so we get the whole gastronomical element into it. But the main key takeaway is that we trek to remote homes and monasteries that are completely off the grid, and we solar electrify them. And as what John was just mentioning a little while ago, I think it's that crossway mingling of culture and experiences. And the last expedition I led, I had about 14 people come down from the Bay Area, and I think it was such a humbling experience for all of them, where they said that this ability to give back to a community, to give that gift of light from us to them, is an intangible experience. And they're going to go back with memories that they're going to cherish for a long time. So we spent about a week at the village, learned so much, talked, interacted with communities. And when it was time to say goodbye, all of us had tears in our eyes. And I think that was that's the biggest takeaway for me. And I think that's what drives me and motivates me to keep providing more and more to people. Because I say, we might be different from across the world, but when it boils down to the basics, we all speak the same universal language. The universal language of love, peace, and compassion. As in Sanskrit, they say, the whole world is a universal family. It's called as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So without taking any more time, I know there's lots to talk, maybe some other time, but over to you, Murtaza. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vandana. John, would you like to add anything to her?
I just want to say that that's exactly what I wanted to express. I actually, while she was talking, I actually put, please email me, johnbruno@ecotourism.org. So I want to make sure that you and I don't lose contact. In fact, with anyone here, please, I invite you to. But the point being that that's exactly the spirit of it, is that we often talk about ecotourism in terms of revenue for communities or in terms of protecting communities and educating the traveler as if that was a bad thing, a burden to the traveler to somehow have to educate the traveler. It isn't. In fact, the traveler is often grateful for that experience and grateful for the chance to be awoken to the possibilities of not only the travel that they can experience, but the connection that they can experience. And sometimes I get letters from people that are really, bring tears to your eyes. I just want to take 20 seconds. I got a letter from a young man. He was worried about making the payments on his car, and he went and he traveled to some place, and he said, these people, using ecotourism, these people had 100th of what I have in terms of wealth, but they were sharing their food with me. And it changed his entire outlook on life. He stopped thinking of life as a thing that you need to consume and buy, and only by buying can you make yourself. He understood that only by being a part of a community, a global community, can you make yourself feel whole. So this is what we're giving people. We're giving people life. We're giving them wholeness. And as Vandana said, we're giving them a sense of belonging, love, peace, and compassion. And that's very, very valuable to people. So sometimes in what we call the G20 countries, people forget these things, and it's wonderful to be able to be reintroduced to them. And so I think that we can talk about ecotourism from a lot of different angles, and I'm grateful to the experts who shared those angles with us today.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Now, Mr. Hakan, are you ready? Normally we do the 90 minutes, 110 minutes. Today is already almost 3 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah, Hakan, we have a short presentation, I think, because Ecotourism is very good association and they're very good speakers. Hakan,
Thank you. Greetings again from Istanbul, Turkey. I mean, a lot of speakers talked about the ecotourism and they defined it perfectly. So I don't know, what else to add on top of that. I can only emphasize the ecotourism fact, and then I can only sum up with if I'm lucky with the presentation, of course. But I explain personally the ecotourism just simply by saying being in harmony in ecosystem on your vacation. That's all there is to it. And I like the fact that Ms. Özgür's remark on not ego-minded but eco-minded. That's a great proverb. I mean, we can use that on all the literature. So I appreciate and thank to all the speakers. And here's my presentation, if I can. I'm a little hesitant, but we'll see about that. Okay, here we go. I think I will control this so nobody can interrupt to it. I'm hoping. Just give me a second here. I think this is it. I mean, we have been working on this from the beginning, so nobody will, interrupt the whole thing. But I think I have managed it with my loyal IT team here, working hard, not to cause any trouble for anyone with unpleasant moments. Oh, okay, here we go. It seems like it's all going all okay now. I'm gonna talking about, I mean, you all have covered the ecotourism fact and the definition of it. The Thai has already, put a dot on it, so no further explanation needed. But as far as Thai's Eurasia chapter, which is now Mr. Murtaza Kalender has been appointed by, that's what I have to talk about. And then we have to, of course, talk about first about the, Thais and what it stands for and what it does. Thais is a nonprofit organization founded in 1990. So this is the largest of its kind and contribute towards the sustainability of Mother Earth, as I would like to call it, by the means of responsible tourism with, 28 years in the industry. And this gentleman with the handsome picture here is Mr. John Bruno, of course. And with the over 15,000 active members from 190 countries involved here, there's 500,000 loyal social media followers. So this means that this is not something that is new, and then people are getting more and more into this, and they are being they're having their vacations more responsibly. Moreover, with the pandemic being in the picture, and almost I'm sorry. Okay, I'll continue with my presentation. I thought somebody made a comment. And this International Ecotourism Society that is, has been on the forefront of the development of ecotourism, providing guidelines and standards, training, technical assistance, and educational resources ever since 1990, of course. And it's an organization that draws attention to ecological awareness, advises the governmental bodies, the local authorities throughout the world. It creates awareness to the destinations and to their people, bringing out the destinations that are underdeveloped and suitable for ecotourism. The organization also supports the ecological agricultural entities in different destinations. So, and of course, not all the participants may know about who Murtaza Kalender is, who happens to be my boss and now the newly appointed Thai's Eurasia chapter head. And, he was born in Tokat, and raised in resort town on Kuşadası. And these are his own words. Learned in the United States of America, seasoned in Bodrum, which is a resort town, and getting the good results of all it in Istanbul now, where he is. So, we have done as Travel Shop Turkey before even getting to the ecotourism, but, with the responsible tourism always being part of our agenda. There is in 2006, there's solar eclipse program for major astronauts and scientists. And another, cultural tour program in 2008 that was 46-day long. That was recognized as the longest travel itinerary in the history of travel industry. The cruise program with 2,800 people, coming to Gallipoli, with many stops from Australia to all the way to Istanbul, and that was in 2015. That turned out to be a great success, and very recently we have hosted 3,500 Indian employees brought to Istanbul, also the biggest of its kind, with high-class service levels with all ecotouristic guidelines. So after that being said about Murtaza Calendar, and coming back to what TIES does for us and for all of us, for the Mother Earth, globally, TIES provides a united roof for all ecotourism bodies and industrial professionals on nonprofit level. TIES provides a guidance on ecotourism to all concerned tourists, whether in finding the right accommodation venue or merely an advice on all touristic destinations. TIES events, also, done annually, that I will come to in detail in a bit, bring the major authorities as speakers and provide the latest and most updated information on ecotourism, just for the awareness, raise the concerns on global warming and guiding people on natural protection, recycling, etc., to protect the Mother Earth as a whole. TIES, through all the workshops and events, will provide and has been providing B2B meetings platform for its ecotourism members, helping them to increase business volume and create new possibilities with new partnerships. That's where you come in. And we are in the process of making a successful website to get this scale a bit larger and larger and cover the whole world. And we, with our in-house IT department, will get you in contact with bodies from 200 countries and more that are in ecotourism. And that's part of the purpose here of this panel, with all the participants and counterparts. The new website will let you add and categorize your firm, your organization, in order to self-promote rapidly. And this website also will have at least all the latest information in regards to ecotourism that will be served for all the members and to their advantage. We also are planning on many other things that we're looking at here, just to get it to a wider audience. We will be appointing new chapter heads under Eurasia, and these new chapter heads will be able to apply with all the credentials that they will have through the website of tieseurasia.com/register. This is still, under construction, but you will get the idea of how to be, a responsible chapter head in your destination after the application process, and this is very important designations. And each and every head of TIES in their destination will be responsible for ecotourism activities and will serve the ecotourism community by uploading all the information, all the ecological venues in this field, and the website will have and contain all that information up to date. TIES also will recognize the successful head, the chapter head, by presenting awards in annual TIES events. Speaking of TIES events that will be accomplished in different destinations annually, and there has been many so far, but these are ESTC, that stand for Ecotourism and Sustainable Tourism Conference by TIES, is a unique annual conference focused on the investment on and sustainability goals for the tourism industry. The one that was being almost realized but delayed due to COVID-19 pandemic was going to take place in Sri Lanka, and then the next stop, the Turkey, and we are already in the kitchen, cooking up on it. Then, Mr. Dunn was one of our guest speakers. He will be hosting most likely 2022 event in Vietnam. And then 2023, that will be in UK, and then on to Uzbekistan. So this is pretty much the program of the next 5 events that we're planning on for all the, we want you to just join us and hundreds of global tourism professionals for the premiere of International Conference on Ecotourism and Sustainable Tourism alike. And we would like to see you being part of all this. And since Mr. Keskin, especially on Zonguldak, but also, touched base on some of the locations in Turkey. Turkey is, most of you may know, they're officially called Republic of Turkey, is a transcontinental Eurasian country located mainly on the Anatolian Peninsula in Western Asia, but it sits on 2 continents. So that's a unique location. That has, I don't want to just get into the details since Mr. Kesking has been very informative about it. There's a lot of, educational facilities, a lot of functions and ecological or organic entities available. So, you will be seeing a whole lot of that, as far as the activities go, as far as, in ecotourism sense. And, since these days, most travelers are opting for a vacation that goes beyond a traditional sun, sea, and beach. And then now, eco travel is coming into the picture with the pandemic as being so, recently in our books. So, people are more aware of the surroundings and try to, protect the nature that they live in, and they have their vacations responsibly. In Turkey, ecotourism is on the rise, as a country, and we have vast areas of unspoiled natural beauty, along with all the sea, sun, and fun locations that, and it's equally important for all of us. And a lot of tourists, come to the vacation, go for a vacation with the preservation of historical landmarks while enjoying all the benefits. But it is our responsibility as travelers to take control of our, carbon footprint on the world, also to ensure the impact on the destination's natural environment. So, that, as a whole, we are in this for protection of the Mother Earth, as I would like to call it oftenly, and we'll take our actions in line with that. And there's another location, another destination of another annual event of ours that's going to take place soon, the Vietnam, which Mr. Dunn, I don't want to say anything over his words because he has explained and described Vietnam as a whole. This is the Vietnam delivers a different experience and with the scope of conservation in this destination. So there's a lot of great destinations to see, and hopefully we will accomplish that following years. And then all in all, I just would like to thank you for your time, and please contact for us for Globally Sustainable Business Association through us, through ties, and save the Mother Earth while promoting touristic destinations responsibly. I couldn't say it, because we really care. Thank you. I appreciate your attendance, and I'll stop this right now and give the word to Mr. Murtaza.
Can you please stop sharing the screen, Hakan?
I just did, sir.
Thank you. You are so lucky. I don't know how you did. Nobody touched your screen and presentation. Yeah, I think
my team is working on it very hard here.
Yeah,
we have 3 men here just trying to find a solution.
Mr. Abidin, please share all the information with us, Hakan, what you did. So next time, everybody will do the same things, okay? John, would you like to add anything on our presentation?
Yes. So yeah, number one, I'm looking forward to us coming back again with the new technology solutions, so we can explore more thoroughly those ones without the benefit of our artistic buddy. And I also want to say that it's extremely important. There's nothing more important than local focus, and but at the same time, you have to have a global vision. And the benefit that we've seen with Murtaza and his team here today are are a truly global vision for ecotourism. We at TIES support that 100%. We support the localized initiatives. We support the work that he and his team are doing, of course. And we encourage anyone within his sphere to, reach out to him and to his team and also to us. So we're all friends now. We're all part of the same initiative. And I look forward to interacting with more folks, not only in Turkey, but, within the entire network.
Thank you very much, John. In a few, we will actually open our chat program. If anybody have a question, then we can receive it. Okay. I really appreciate all our speakers. You do a good job. And before I forget, I like to thank to my colleague here in Bodrum. Bodrum is beautiful resort, and I'm using his office, Mr. Fatih. And also special thanks to Mr. Zainal. He's hosting his hotel. Okay. Now I'm opening the chat. If anybody have a question, please let us know. Then Mr. Hakan will read it, and all our speakers will answer. The chat is open. Please type the chat. If anybody have questions.
Ben niye göremiyorum?
Hakan sesin geliyor. Yeah. Anybody have questions? Chat is open. I don't know. No one have a question, John.
I think we have covered all the questions, sir.
Yes, we already covered. I request all my colleagues to join us to TIES, become members, and if you are interested in become chapters of your countries, please register also our registration form, and we will check and we will come back to you in a short time. Hakan, can you please read? I think we have few questions.
I see that the questions are coming in. The first one from Joanna Ovabali to everyone. Are you willing to work with Nigeria? That's a question for
John.
Yeah, so I see several questions about becoming a chapter head, becoming a country representative. I think that, in terms of being, first of all, if you're a tourism professional or a tourism student or someone who wants to work in tourism and you want to follow the principles of TIES, you can be a member of TIES. So, anyone can join if you're no matter where you are globally. We have 10 members in North Korea. So they don't do a lot of traveling, but that's the kind of spirit that our members have. So they look ahead to the possible future. We have members in countries that there's a question as whether they're considered a country. So there's no place that if you are not looking to work in tourism and you're not following TIES principle, you can't be a member. So of course, Nigeria, we have many members in Nigeria. In terms of being a chapter head, I think the important aspect of being a chapter head, first of all, there was a link put up that you can go to register your interest to be a chapter head. Murtaza will look that over, and his team will give that consideration, and we'll all discuss it and see how we can support you. But the most important thing is that we think that it's important to have somebody who is well connected to the local travel scene. That means having a connection with the government, having connection with other folks who are providing travel services, having some strong connection to the travel community. That's generally the type of person who succeeds best in that role. For instance, you heard me introduce Dr. Palitha Guru Singh. He is the ambassador in Sri Lanka. So he's very connected there and makes an excellent, has a lot of friends and supports his friends well, because that's what we need in a chapter head, someone who understands very much their country and understands the needs of their country. And that requires someone who kind of knows a lot of people and talks to them on a regular basis. So that's, I think, what we're looking for, in a chapter head for development. So if there's other things that you feel you can bring to the table or other things that you feel are important, please, by all means, go to the website, sign up, and they will the team there will look at the process.
Yeah, Hakan, can you please share the registration links on the chat?
Sure.
Sam?
We have the Thais Eurasia website is still being under construction, but we have the link for registration on being a chapter head. That's thaiseurasia.com
Can you please type the,
/register.
can you please share the links on the chat?
I am sharing it right now.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, please, Dan.
Shall I talk now?
Yeah, please, few minutes.
Mr. John Bruno and Mati, I'm very happy that Mati wish that I can be the representative of Thais in Vietnam. And we really appreciate Mati's request. And we really focus and learn on ecotourism. And we really want to work hard on this, and we try to develop the plan for 2022 for the seminar or workshop for ecotourism Thais in Vietnam. And I'm very serious. I will make a very clear plan from now on until 2022. And where we have the expertise, travel agent from all around the world in Vietnam to discuss about this. I'm happy with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. John, we have many questions. Maybe we can send it by email, it to them. So difficult, so far.
The questions are usually around, how to be chapter head, and could you send the presentations that are, performed during the panel? So we will cover that as a whole. So that will be responding to many of the questions here.
Absolutely. The other question that I see that that folks are asking, and I think this is something that we should commit to here today, Mr. Wen, Mr. Calendar, and myself, and of course I would ask Dr. Guru Singh too if he was here. I think we should commit to growing this community. I think this is our very first presentation together. So there was a few, things we need to work out, obviously, but we'll get those worked out over time. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to lose contact with the folks on this call, and we think this community will grow strongly. So I hope that everyone here will come back to our next presentation. You need to give Mr. Calendar and his team some time after. Don't put so much work on them, but very soon they will have another version of this, and I want to personally ask each and every one of you to attend again and to reach out to his team and reach out to us, and let's get this started. Let's not have it be just words that we say today that we're a global community. Let's make sure we are a global community. I ask, all the speakers have asked you for something. I'm only going to ask you for one thing, and that is to reach out to someone on this meeting, and let's start the process, even if we just take one small step to becoming a global community, so that we can all make a difference together.
Yeah, we will make a new date for our next presentation, John, and we will inform them. We will share all the presentation, Mr. Mohammed Keskin presentation, Jamina presentation, and we will send also by links. Everybody's email with us, and some of them also on our WhatsApp group. Mr. Mohammed Keskin, can you please share me on WhatsApp also? Jamina, can you please share me on WhatsApp also, please, because most of them presentation. Please send also. We have a WhatsApp group, already past more than 200 people, only with Thai WhatsApp group. Okay, so I will share with them. Would you like any word, Mr. Mohammed Keskin? I would like to close. You please unmute. Yeah.
Thank you very much, for giving this opportunity. So Özgül was speaking earlier, the change of consumption behavior and etc. And all the speakers have said the importance of coming together. We have lots of available knowledge out there, how to nudge, people to change their behavior. So we need organizations such as this one. We need conferences. We need seminars like this one to make sure we convey the research and all these possible ways of changing the behaviors and other things. So we must continue to learn from each other. In order that to happen, we need to stick together, we need to work together. And I think this is a great platform, and the association is a great platform. I mean, there are so many questions out there to be responded, to be answered. And I think, for most questions, we have answers, but we just need to find those answers from those who have experience about those. Right, John?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mr. Mohammed, I also kindly request to join us our site, become a member, please. Yeah, and we need your, advice and recommendation also. We need your experience. Please become our member. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. That's a yes, and I will continue to support you all the way I can.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Jamina. Any last word? Unmute.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
We do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I just want to say thank you again for inviting me to be here, and John for all of the mentorship and inspiration that you've provided, and for creating this platform to come together with a global network of people who not only care about tourism, the jobs that it creates, the opportunities that it's bringing to various destinations, but are also putting the climate and putting the world and the earth at the #1 of the agenda. It is incredibly inspiring to be 16 years into my career of tourism and to find such a wonderful network. I'm thoroughly excited to be continuing to work with you all as we find some really exciting solutions to some of the deep issues that we have today.
Thank you very much, Jamina. Thank you. Hope to see you in Turkey.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. As soon as we can, we're coming. Every other year, we like to go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Özgür, ask some more, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Now,
Özgür, let me say the echo without ego is John Bruno. Have no ego.
Ego from
Eco.
Echo to Echo. Thank you very much. It's really honor to be here with you. There are lots of things we can learn from each other's experience. I will continue and be part. I really want to be part of this community. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Vandana Achaha. John, sorry. John, yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to say, these presentations are an example of how much we can all learn. I mean, I've been in the business, we've all been in this business for many, many years, but it's, you're learning so many things. So it's a great opportunity, and I agree with you, and I absolutely support what you're saying. I hope we can grow this community strongly in this.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Özgür, again. Vandana Achaha. Acha, yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for providing me with this opportunity. And it's so exciting to know that there is a group of, people who have the same vision, same mission, and similar outlook towards how they view ecotourism and sustainable development from around the world. And it could be a great platform to just network and bounce off ideas from each other. So I absolutely love this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. Bruno,
Thank
would
you.
like to say something? Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. That I just want to say, absolutely, that's exactly the sentiment I feel.
We will help each other, and we will grow up all together. Yeah, from every different country to understand. Please join us and share your experience and tell us your vision. You understand what I mean? When you help us, when you share your experience, I'm sure we will grow up all together. Am I
Yes.
right, John? Yeah, am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mr. Dan, Amoy. Ask me, please.
Anh đây. Anh đây chú nói đi.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Would you like to have a few words? We are closing now, Dan. say
Yes.
goodbye to say goodbye to all our colleagues.
So I wish to see you, all of you, in Vietnam in 2022. We
Yeah.
are
Thank you.
now very safe. We can fly everywhere, but domestically.
I think Vandana, she forget to invite us. It's okay, you know, we will come to Vietnam only.
No, I will invite all of you to come here.
Yeah, thank
I will be the host to all of you. Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay. I really appreciate all my colleagues, all my friends. You know, today is 750 tourism company registered our panel. I don't know if come to, you know, 1,000, usually it's come to 1,000. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you, John Bruno, giving me this opportunity also become a Thai chapter head in Europe and Asia. I know this is, you know, you give me the very good responsibilities. I'll do my best. I'll try my best to be grown up with all together, and they will become more members, more chapter office to many different countries. I really appreciate it to you to give me this opportunity. Thank you, and this chance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's something that, you know, it's amazing because Jamina and I, you know, began discussing this concept, what was it, a few months ago. And, you know, you came about at exactly the right time with a skill set that's phenomenal. And, you know, one of the most important people in the travel industry is now associated with us. And that's what I think is going to make this strong. We have energy, we have a vision, we have people that we want to do. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go forward and create exactly the vision that we have in our minds, and we're going to make it possible. I think that's something that we can all agree on today.
Okay, thank you very much to all. See you our next event. Thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful
Bruno,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Gemina. Thank you,
Thank
Moti.
you.
Bye-bye.